Hey guys, welcome back to F1 23 for essentially what is the third part of this My Team Career mode. The first part was the pre-season setup for the team, and the last episode was Bahrain, as we did crash out in that one, and hopefully this race will be better and may have better luck in Saudi Arabia, as I have to say I'm a wee bit better in Saudi Arabia than I am in at Bahrain. But just looking through all the tabs before we dive into the weekend for practice one to try and gain as much R&D as we can in quick practice. Now going over to quick practice, just trying to grab as much R&D and discounts and stuff like that as we can. Just trying to gain as much as we can, and that will be our practice one done here for the quick practice, going on to practice two. Going over to quick practice two now, as we did complete that last program, and now we're going to try and complete another program here. Just trying to get some rear downforce, as we are going to try that now. We do get that completed, as there won't be any time for any other, maybe going over to the next practice simulation, nothing else. Now going to the final practice simulation here, just trying to get, as I said, as much R&D and as much discounts as we can, as again there's nothing to do there. So now we go on to what is Q1 here in Saudi Arabia to try and shoot out for Q2. Going into Q1 now, agreeing to park for me, and on to my flying lap now, as we come down the back straight on the rundown into turn 27 to try and get a good exit out of this turn, because if you get a good exit out of this turn, you get a nice rundown to the line, and for the rest of your lap, as the last turn is very important in every circuit to set up a good lap. But now going down into turn one, it isn't the best turn one I've had, as I go wide through the first turn, carry too much speed for the second part, so I have to slow down for the second part. But now going down into turn four now, the fast left-hander into the section where you near enough take every turn flat. You do have to lift through some sections, them sections being here as I go a wee bit wide there. Somehow not getting a track limits warning, same there. Time is still valid somehow, as we do set a green sector 1 as we come around turn 11 now, trying to get a good exit out of turn 11 to set up to sector 2. But now just trying to get a good setup through sector 2. Going through the chicane there as Valtteri Bottas tops the timing sheets as his lap is the first one to cross the line. I think Lewis Hamilton obviously goes faster. I think that was about a second or two faster than Valtteri Bottas, as we come through the final section of our first flying lap. Now what can we do? Sergio Perez sets a 1:30 on the dot as we come through the final turn now, turn 27. Can we get a good exit? It's a bit close to the wall. It's a bit closer than I would have liked. But on the rundown into turn 1, where can we go for our first flying lap? We go 8th fastest, about 2 tenths off of Valtteri Bottas' time, which isn't the worst and it isn't the best for our first lap. And Q1 is a custard spin, and I go into the wall. It's nightmares here in Saudi Arabia, and we're out in Q1. Well, there is your Q1 standings there. George Russell ends up topping the timing sheets with Lewis Hamilton there in second, with Max Verstappen only being in 6th place in Q1. Yes, it is Q1, but myself and Owasa go out in Q1, and it will be P19 and P20 for us going into the race.
To visit one of the newest circuits on the Formula One calendar. We're in Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Sainz, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Norris, Bottas, Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Joe, Albon, Russell, Hülkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Iwasa, Iceman, Sargent, Iceman. And now it's time to head down to the track. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, someone of tremendous experience and insight. It's the man himself, Anthony Davidson. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? I'm also looking forward to seeing the different strategies in play today. Those who are starting on the red marked soft tyre are going to have a little bit more grip early on, but they have to make it count before that degradation starts to set in.
Well, the strategy we will go for is soft to medium. Here in Saudi Arabia, it's all eyes to the lights. It's lights out and away we go. It's an okay start for us, but it's a better start for our teammate Iwasa. We're going to go down the inside of a lot of people on the brakes heavily. The rears start to spin a wee bit more, keeping it out of the back of Nico Hülkenberg as we are approaching the turn 4. In this race. We're going to dive down the inside of George Russell. We're going to be side by side through turn 5. There's a snap there. I'm going to try and keep it on the inside. It's not going to work as we go through the fast section of the lap. Not that the whole lap isn't fast, but the fastest section of the lap. And now Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri is going to try and challenge us. We do shut him off though. We close the door, and now into P17, gaining 3 positions at the start of the race, and now trying to chase after P16 of George Russell, as we definitely somehow have the pace. And George Russell, after topping Q1, he ends up qualifying P16, so he obviously finished last in Q2, if that is the way it's going right now. But Yuki Tsunoda is all over the back of us on the first lap, and we're just going to try and drop him as much as we can. But now going through the final back straight of the lap, we make way for Yuki Tsunoda, as it isn't our fight to fight just yet. But now we're going to try and go right round the outside of turn 27, the last turn in the lap. We're going to try and make it stick on the main straight. We are going to make it stick on the exit of the turn 27, and we are ahead of Yuki Tsunoda going on to lap 2 of this race. Now George Russell and Nico Hülkenberg fighting there. Can we maybe try and follow one of the drivers through? We weren't close enough, but we are close enough to follow Nico Hülkenberg through. We're going to get past George Russell and maybe past Nico Hülkenberg as I go a wee bit too fast through that section. I get past Nico Hülkenberg a wee bit argy-bargy, but we do get past him, and now we are up into P15 for the Saudi Arabian GP, and hopefully we can stay in this position, as it isn't points, but it is a good position compared to where we were in Bahrain. We were in about 12th in Bahrain, but that's only because we got through to Q2, and honestly with this pace that we're carrying through, if I showed up a bit more in qualifying, I could have maybe even, sounds a bit absurd, but we could have maybe even got up into Q3 and went for the top 11 shout as it is. But now George Russell with ERS is going to try and get past me, but now skipping ahead to the main straight, George Russell gets past me, but I'm going to move over to the right as he moves over to the left to defend the inside line. Going to try and go right round the outside and down the inside of the second part of the chicane. We get past George Russell as Nico Hülkenberg gets past him as well, as he follows us through, and we are still in P15 and we keep 15th position from George Russell. We go a wee bit wide there as we go through the fastest section of the lap, and we're going to try and keep it nice and tidy through this tricky windy section of the lap. And we are still in P15 with Nico Hulkenberg right behind us, but Nico Hulkenberg is going to try and deploy ERS and get quite close to my rear end here in Saudi Arabia as we make contact with the wall here in Saudi Arabia through turn 11. We go through turn 13 now, 13 and 14, probably one of the most death trap chicanes in the calendar and on this race. But now skipping ahead to the final part of the lap, going through turn 27 now, as there was a wee bit of snap as I had to correct it, but Nico Hulkenberg's going to George Russell is going to dive down the inside as Nico Hulkenberg was overtaken by George Russell, but we are going to get DRS as we were behind him going through turn 27, which is the detection zone for DRS on lap 4 of this race, and we do stay ahead of George Russell in Saudi Arabia, and we are in P15 and we've got some pace behind the car, but I just have to keep my end of it cool and breezy and try not to have too many snaps on the rear and too many mistakes here in Saudi Arabia as I go through the left-hander now and through the right-hander, trying to keep it nice and tidy, keeping it within track limits as we go over this section as I go a wee bit wide there, and that's going to give George Russell a good opportunity to try and go right round the outside of turn 11. He is going to try it. We're going to keep it on the inside nice and tidy. We're going to squeeze him to the outside, and we do keep 15th position here in Saudi Arabia, and we're having a really good scrap with George Russell, who is in a definitely faster car. But now going for editing, I realise now if I've let him past, I could have maybe pushed on to try and get Guan Yu Zhou and Alexander Albon behind him and try to keep in within a second and getting DRS and a slipstream off of him while he pushes to go and maybe try and get some more positions. But I did keep the fight on for this section here. George Russell is going to try and find a way through. We do move about a wee bit there. He is going to try and go down the inside. I'm going to try and wrap it right round the outside and do the exact same thing we did last time. I am going to get DRS on George Russell. I'm not going to deploy any ERS just yet. I am going to deploy it now, and we breeze past George Russell on the straight with DRS and ERS going down into turn 1. I am going to take the inside line just in case he tried anything. But now going through the final part of the chicane, we do get past George Russell as there's a wee bit of a slide on the rear end. We are in P15 now, just trying to stick ahead of George Russell on lap 5 of 18 here in Saudi Arabia, as George Russell is going to try and get past us. He's not going to get past us. As I go wide, I beats the car on the carbon, and I'm going to try and rejoin the track as we make contact with Nico Hulkenberg as he tries to go right round the outside of me. I don't know why he's trying to do that, as I've tried to rejoin the circuit. Tried to go right round the outside of me. I was rejoining, I have to admit, at pretty high speeds. As the car starts to snap on me there, I keep it out the wall. No damage to our car, but I think there's massive front wing damage to Nico Hulkenberg's car, and I'm surprised I didn't take him out of the race. And you can see the difference aerodynamically as a bit of his front wing is broken, but we will find out soon as we go alongside him now. And looking over to the right, there's a bit of his front wing flapping about there as his end plate is gone. We do get past Nico Hulkenberg pretty easily. We are in P16, but we did lose P15 to George Russell, and now it might be a push-on game to try and get past him. But Nico Hulkenberg breezes past us. Yuki Tsunoda is going to try and join in the fight as well, as it's a 3-car battle. As I go right round the outside Nico Hulkenberg, I'm not going to get DRS on him, but Yuki Tsunoda is going to get DRS on me as ERS as though there's nothing I can do. Down into turn 1, Yuki Tsunoda is going to try and go right around the outside. I am going to try and fight back on the inside line through the chicane. I keep my nose in. I stay ahead of Yuki Tsunoda on lap 6 of the race through the first chicane, and we are still in P16 in this race. I'm going to try and push on a bit more in the race to try and get a high position, but I think P16 is the highest we are going to get in this race so far. And now just trying to keep it nice and tidy through this section. Skimming ahead to a bit into lap 8, Yuki Tsunoda breezes past us. Our teammate is going to try and go down the inside as Awasa tries to beat us for the first time. Sorry, for the second time this season, but I am going to peel into the pits. My teammate picks up a slipstream from me and goes on to continue the race as we go into the pit lane as we are at the 15-minute mark of the video. Only so many more laps to go here in Saudi Arabia, and can we try and finish the race this time instead of crashing out in spectacular fashion as we did in Bahrain. But now exiting the pits, I'm going to try and heat up the tyres as much as I can and get a good outlap in, and trying to keep with Yuki Tsunoda as much as I can through this lap. The tyres are still cold as we exit the pit lane on lap 9 of this race, just trying to keep with Yuki Tsunoda as much as we can. Skipping ahead to lap 13 now as Sergio Perez is out of the session, and that's going to throw a huge curveball into the way the race pans out. Well, skipping ahead to the last turn of lap 17 as we now go on to lap 18, and Yuki Tsunoda is going to get DRS on us as we go down into turn 1. Now skipping ahead a bit into the lap, we're going to try and barge past Yuki Tsunoda. We do it wrong though as we squeeze him too tight to the wall, and I feel really bad, and that was 100% my fault as Yuki Tsunoda was just a bystander. And honestly, if I could use flashbacks I would erase that moment, but I can't, and that is the way it's turned out, and it is a rubbish way for it to turn out as the car starts to bottom out there and it starts to slide away from me. Max Verstappen takes his second win of the season, and now Yuki Tsunoda is all over the back of me, and can he maybe overtake me as we go through sector 2 now towards the death chicane. He is going to come close with DRS. He is going to get past me though into the death chicane as we go through to the final bit of the lap through sector 2. He is going to get past round the outside. Oscar Piastri is going to look for a way through, but he isn't going to get away through. I'm not going to dive down the inside of the last turn as it is a very tricky spot to overtake at, but now we get DRS on Yuki Tsunoda, deploying every bit of ERS in the world. It is going to be a photo finish to the line, and what is the outcome going to be? I think I'll get P15, but I don't. I get P16. Yuki Tsunoda gets P15 in the race, and it is disappointment for me as Max Verstappen claims driver of the day here in Saudi Arabia.
The Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, now looking at the final way the race panned out, Max Verstappen wins with Charles Leclerc second and Lewis Hamilton third. And that is the way the championship is panning out now. We are still last in the constructors as I scroll down to see where we are. We are P18 in the drivers. I wonder where my teammate is, as he won't be any higher than me, as he right below me. No, he isn't. He's in P21. Here in the standings, I'm going to look at the way the race panned out. Our teammate goes down into P20 as it isn't the ideal race for him, as we go up 4 positions and he goes down 1 as we go back to the team headquarters to sort things out before the Australian GP next episode, as I don't have to do any of that, so we can go straight to the weekend in Albert Park in Australia and try and get a better weekend than we did here in Saudi. It was an okay weekend for us. No points, obviously, as we aren't in a car that can challenge for that points, as we are basically just challenging for that, what you would call the wooden spoon, challenging not for any not any points. We are trying to just scrap for that last bit without any points. So about P15 from P11 downwards, as that's where we are right now. As I'm gonna fill in some of the activity slots for the next week until the Australian GP, which will be up tomorrow with the next part of Breaking Point. But I do hope you enjoyed this episode, as I certainly did. We did actually finish the race. As we look to our driver perks, we do go for development feedback. But I do hope you enjoyed this race, and I will see you for the next race in Australia at Albert Park.